The Resilience Revolution: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Redefining Success Against All Odds. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I want to begin by acknowledging the extraordinary woman whose work has fundamentally transformed our understanding of entrepreneurship in America. Patricia Harris is not just a researcher or advocate, she is a visionary who has dedicated her life to documenting an economic revolution hiding in plain sight. Through meticulous research and fearless advocacy, Patricia has illuminated the remarkable journey of Black women entrepreneurs who are not merely participating in the American economy, they are actively reshaping it. What makes Patricia's work so revolutionary is her refusal to accept the conventional narrative. While others focus exclusively on barriers and challenges, Patricia dares to document triumph. She translates cold statistics into stories of hope, transforms obstacles into opportunities, and elevates individual successes into blueprints for systemic change. Her work doesn't just describe the world as it is, it imagines the world as it could be. Today, I want to share with you the profound insights from my conversation with Patricia. Insights that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success, innovation, and the true nature of resilience. We've all heard the statistics about the challenges facing Black women entrepreneurs, the loan rejection rates that are 3 times higher than their white counterparts, the venture capital funding that amounts to less than 1% of total investments, the systematic exclusion from networks and resources that fuel business growth. These challenges are real, they are significant, they deserve our attention and action, but they are not the whole story. In fact, they might not even be the most important part of the story, because something extraordinary is happening across America right now. Black women are not just surviving in entrepreneurship, they are thriving, innovating, and fundamentally reshaping entire industries, even in the face of systemic adversity. This isn't inspirational rhetoric, it's backed by remarkable data that Patricia shared with me. Despite all the barriers we hear about, Black women have driven an 80% revenue increase for their businesses from 2019 to 2024. Their employer firms are now earning over twice as much as they did before. Black women owned businesses are now generating $60 billion annually, a figure that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. This entrepreneurial surge isn't happening by accident. It's a direct response to exclusion in corporate spaces where DEI roles are being cut and advancement opportunities remain limited. It signals a collective shift toward creating inclusive business models and reclaiming economic agency. This is the first counterintuitive truth I want to share today. Sometimes the very systems designed to limit us become the catalyst for our greatest innovations. Let me introduce you to Simone and Maya, the founders of Navigate Maternity, a company specializing in FDA cleared maternal health technology. Their journey embodies this principle perfectly. Simone and Maya met while working at a major hospital system, where they witnessed firsthand the devastating disparities in maternal care for Black women. The statistics haunted them. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy related causes than white women in America. When they proposed developing technology to address this crisis, they faced immediate skepticism. We were told repeatedly that the market wasn't large enough, Simone told Patricia. One investor actually said to my face that maternal health wasn't sexy enough for venture capital. When they sought funding, they discovered the harsh reality that Black women founders receive less than 0.35% of venture capital. Banks rejected their loan applications despite impeccable credit scores and solid business plans. One loan officer even suggested they find a white male co founder to improve their chances. These are the kinds of barriers that conventional wisdom suggests would doom a startup, especially in the highly regulated healthcare technology space. But here's what happened instead: they leveraged community partnerships for pilot programs. They secured grant funding specifically aimed at minority innovators. They built a team of passionate experts who shared their vision. The result? Navigate Maternity achieved FDA clearance for their monitoring technology, a major milestone that many well funded startups never reach. Their technology has now improved maternal outcomes for thousands of patients nationwide, with data showing a 62% reduction in emergency interventions for the patients using their system. The rejections forced us to be more creative, more resilient, more determined, Maya explained. We couldn't follow the traditional playbook because that playbook wasn't written for us, so we wrote our own. This brings me to the second key insight from my conversation with Patricia Harris. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's a powerful fuel for innovation. The data shows that Black women's ability to thrive despite higher rates of lending rejection and workforce exit demonstrates extraordinary resilience. This resilience hasn't just helped them survive, it's led them to diversify into tech, healthcare, fashion, and countless other industries. Consider the story of Jasmine and Aisha, founders of Oak Theory, a UX UI design firm focused on digital inclusion. They entered an industry dominated by large agencies with little diversity and encountered hiring biases when scaling up their team. Before launching Oak Theory, both women worked at prestigious design agencies where their ideas were routinely overlooked or appropriated. Despite consistently strong performance reviews, they watched as less qualified colleagues were promoted above them. In meetings, I would suggest an approach, be ignored, and then watch a white male colleague suggest the exact same thing 5 minutes later to enthusiastic approval, Jasmine recalled. It happened so often, we started calling it the echo. The conventional path would be to conform to existing structures, to play by established rules, to work twice as hard for half the recognition. Instead, they made a radical choice. They left to create their own company with a fundamentally different approach to design and leadership. They prioritized building diverse teams internally and developed mentorship programs targeting young designers of color. They established decision making processes that ensured all voices were heard. They created a workplace culture that celebrated authenticity rather than demanding assimilation. The result? Oak Theory landed contracts with Fortune 500 companies seeking authentic representation and doubled their staff size within 2 years. Their client list now includes brands that once rejected their job applications. Their inclusive design approach has been recognized nationally, and they're regularly featured at major tech conferences advocating for equity driven approaches. Our challenge became our competitive advantage, Aisha explained. We understand exclusion intimately, so we're experts at designing for inclusion. This pattern of turning exclusion into innovation, of transforming barriers into breakthroughs, appears repeatedly in Patricia's research. It challenges our fundamental assumptions about what drives business success. The third insight from our conversation is perhaps the most powerful: entrepreneurship for Black women isn't just about financial success, it's a movement towards self determination and community impact. The rise in Black women owned businesses represents something far more significant than economic activity. It's about reclaiming narrative control, redefining success metrics, and creating spaces where innovation can flourish without compromise. Take the story of Zara, founder of Alana Eve, an inclusive fashion brand offering size XS to 3X using recycled materials. After spending years in the fashion industry watching brands pay lip service to inclusion while maintaining narrow beauty standards, Zara decided to create the brand she wished existed. She faced sustained pushback from suppliers unwilling to prioritize sustainability or extended sizing options. One manufacturer told her bluntly, plus size clothing just doesn't sell at premium prices. That's not our market. Rather than compromise her vision, Zara sourced alternative vendors committed to ethical production methods and built direct to consumer channels via social media. She centered her marketing around real women with diverse body types and authentic stories. The result? Alana Eve became one of Pinterest's top trending brands thanks to viral campaigns highlighting cultural pride and body positivity. Her collections are now featured at New York Fashion Week, and she set new benchmarks around inclusivity that are encouraging other brands toward expanded initiatives within fashion. Success for me isn't just about profit margins, Zara told Patricia. It's about creating a world where my nieces will never feel the shame I felt shopping for clothes. It's about proving that sustainability and inclusivity aren't just moral imperatives, they're good business. This brings me to the fourth insight from my conversation with Patricia. Systemic change is possible through entrepreneurial innovation. By challenging traditional business norms and pushing for inclusivity, Black women entrepreneurs are redefining standards across industries. Whether it's expanded sizing in fashion brands or maternal health technology that addresses racial disparities, these innovations aren't just creating successful businesses, they're transforming entire sectors. This is what makes Patricia Harris's research so important. She's documenting not just individual success stories, but a collective movement that's reshaping American business from the ground up. Now, I want to be clear about something. Acknowledging this remarkable success doesn't mean ignoring the very real challenges that persist. Black women entrepreneurs still face significant barriers to capital, still encounter biased lending practices, still navigate systems not designed with their success in mind. But Patricia's work reminds us that focusing exclusively on barriers creates an incomplete picture. It misses the extraordinary innovation, resilience, and transformation happening right now. The stories I've shared today aren't outliers or exceptions. They represent a broader pattern that challenges conventional wisdom about entrepreneurship, innovation, and success. In our society, we often equate success with ease of path. We assume that the most successful businesses are those that face the fewest obstacles. Patricia's research turns this assumption on its head. She shows us that some of the most innovative, impactful businesses are emerging precisely because their founders had to navigate systems not designed for them. This isn't to romanticize struggle or suggest that barriers are somehow beneficial. Rather, it's to recognize the extraordinary capacity for human innovation in the face of challenges. It's to acknowledge that resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, It's about transforming it into something meaningful. As we think about supporting entrepreneurship and innovation in America, Patricia's insights suggest we need a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of asking how we can help marginalized entrepreneurs overcome barriers, perhaps we should be asking what we can learn from their success despite those barriers. What if the next great innovations in American business aren't coming from traditional centers of power and privilege, but from those who've had to reimagine success on their own terms? What if the future of entrepreneurship isn't about removing all obstacles, but about creating ecosystems where resilience can flourish into innovation? I want to leave you with this challenge. How will you use your own resilience, not just to survive, but to create lasting impact? What legacy will your journey through adversity leave behind for yourself, your community, and those who come next? The revolution that Patricia Harris has documented isn't just changing business, it's changing what we believe is possible. It shows us that our greatest innovations often emerge not from comfort, but from necessity, not from fitting into existing systems, but from reimagining them entirely. True resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward into new possibilities, new innovations, and new definitions of success that honor our full humanity. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity, the question is what you'll create from it. Thank you.